Hi, my name is Kristina Ray, and I want to talk to you a little bit about how I lost 90 pounds using Medifast and Take Shape for Life in just over 8 months. I had been heavy my entire life. I was an obese child and teenager. I wore a size 13 starting in the 6th grade, and in high school I was about 13, 14, probably more like a 16, but I made my 13s stretchy so that they'd fit. And on my wedding day, I was 17 years old and I was in an 18W. And that's one of my biggest regrets, was that my wedding dress and my wedding size, that was big, and I cannot redo those pictures. So I'd like to talk to you a little bit about the program that I used, why I used it, and how and why it worked for me. I am just an average, everyday mom of 4. My husband was deployed in 2006 to Iraq, and I was pregnant, and I was heavy with all of my pregnancies, so that's not what made me overweight, but it definitely didn't help. When you're depressed and you have a spouse living overseas and whatever, it's really hard, and you sometimes like to eat a little bit more, and I definitely did that. When I had my second daughter, I was 216 pounds the day I delivered, and it just kind of went up from there. My highest weight was 239.8 pounds. Yikes. I was in a size 18-20. As you can probably tell now, I'm definitely not that big anymore. I am now between 145 and 150, and I am in a size 4. I cannot tell you how much it has changed my life. It's absolutely amazing. Anybody can do this if I could do it. I've tried every other diet plan on the face of the planet. I've done Weight Watchers 3 different times and lost the same 30 pounds over and over and over again, and I didn't learn anything, so I went back to eating my old ways. I've done the zone diet. I've done counting carbs and counting calories, and Atkins several times, and anything that you can, any other diet that's super popular. I tried it from the age of 12 up. I even considered bulimia at one point. I was just like, maybe if I throw up my food, I can be skinny and popular and won't get made fun of and won't have people poking my fat and saying, whoo, like Pillsbury Doughboy. It's really mean, I know. But what can you do? I was raised on Taco Bell, McDonald's, and Burger King, and my parents were both heavier people, and they didn't understand portion control. They didn't understand, how to teach a child how to eat correctly, and that, I'm not blaming it on them at all whatsoever, because I definitely put the food in my mouth. But when you are around people that do it and they don't know what they're doing, they don't know what they're hurting you by having you eat that kind of stuff and letting you supersize everything and drink a giant soda this tall when you're 10 years old, and they just didn't understand, kind of like I didn't until I found Take Shape for Life and Medifast. I found the program because my sister-in-law actually started it, and she had lost a lot of weight in like 2 or 3 months. So I think I saw her at Thanksgiving, and by my son's birthday in January, she came to his party and she had lost like 40 pounds. And I was just like, oh my gosh, how did you do this? Well, she told me, it's kind of like Nutrisystem, but not really. It's a different program. It's called Medifast, but I use the Take Shape for Life because you get a free health coach, and that helps and whatever. So, okay, yada, yada, yada. I was still pregnant when I think I had asked her. I had just had the baby, I want to say. Had another baby? No, just kidding. I had just had a baby. That's what it was. Just had a baby. That was not his birthday party. I think that was right when he was born. I think it was his first, yeah, it was when he was born. So my brother-in-law ended up starting it, my husband's brother. So now my husband's brother and my husband's sister are both losing this crazy amount of weight on this stuff. And he dropped like 75 pounds in a matter of 3 months. And so that was like January to March. And in March, I finally was just like, okay, sign me up. I give in. I'm going to put my ego and my pride away for a minute, and I'm going to figure out how you guys are doing this, and I'm going to do it myself too, because I don't think it's if you guys can do it, I can do it. It can't be crazy, crazy hard. So I texted my sister-in-law, and I was asking her questions. You know, when you're starting something like that, you want to know everything, every little last detail. So I started asking her, how much does it cost? And when I found out how much it cost, I was like, oh yeah, just kidding. Well, to be honest with you, it sounds like it was a lot of money. She said it's about $300 a month. Well, at that time, I didn't have a health coach, so I didn't know all of the wonderful little money-saving tips. Now, I'm a health coach, so if you want to do it, I can help you save the money. However, in reality, it is about $264 a month. And I thought that that was a lot of money. It sounded like a ton of money to me, and I was like, oh yeah, no, just kidding. But then she said, okay, but how much do you spend on food? So I was like, oh, you know, probably like $20 a week. Yeah, whatever. So I watched my food grocery bill for a week, and then I added up. We went to Chick-fil-A one time, and Chick-fil-A was like just $7 or $8 just for me, you know. Number 5, I wanted 8-piece chicken nuggets and French fries and a sweet tea. So by adding up everything that I was eating, I was probably eating more like, you know, $60-ish a week just by myself, including groceries and everything else that we were eating, if we were going out, if we were not. And I realized that $264 a month divided by 4, okay, yeah, that's about $65-$70 a week. So maybe that's really not that bad. So I bit the bullet, and I ordered my food, and I put it actually on a credit card, so I didn't even really have the money. I put it on a credit card, but I was so sick of being fat. I was so sick of being depressed. I was so sick of going shopping and coming out with a pair of clearance pants because they were like $5 at Old Navy and extra large, which was like an 18-20. And I'd always been told, oh, you have such a pretty face. Okay, well, that's great, but what about the rest of me? And I always knew that it looked bad, and, you know, I started to feel bad for my husband. I was like, you know, this guy went to Iraq, and he served our country, and he put his life on the line for me, but I think he deserves a trophy wife. I don't think that he deserves some heifer to come home to. I don't think that's right. So my son was 3 months old, and on March 11th, 2011, I bit the bullet, and I made my purchase, and I got my food. I'm really glad that I had somebody that stepped in front of me. My sister-in-law actually told me, don't order the soup your first time because you won't like it, and don't order anything strawberry because it tastes like Pepto-Bismol. Things like that, because if I hadn't done that, I probably would have ordered a package, and that's like the worst thing that you can do, because you can't pick your food in your package, and there's stuff in there like banana flavor, and I don't do banana at all whatsoever, so that was just not going to happen. But I ordered my food. I got it 3 days later. I am on the East Coast. It ships from Maryland, so I'm in South Carolina. It's shipped down here in 3 days, and I got my box, and I was like so excited. But if you're anything like me and you're money motivated, the monetary investment that I made in that food was enough for me to actually say, okay, well, I'm going to do this now because I just spent almost $300 on it. That's a lot of money to me. And I did it. And my first week, I lost 9.6 pounds. And I was like, I'm sold. That's it. I can do this. And it really wasn't hard. I was eating 6 times a day, so I wasn't hungry. Yes, the first 3 days were awful. Like, I just... the first 3 days suck. I will be 100% honest with you. You're hungry, you're tired, you're starting to get a headache on day 2, but that's actually a good thing because you're going into ketosis, your body's starting to lose that weight. Well, after the first week when I lost 9.6 pounds, now don't get me wrong, I'm a daily wearer. Okay, I need to come out of the closet. I'm probably like a multiple times a day wearer. I watched that scale drop every single day for the first 7 days. And at the end of 7 days, I was down 9.6 pounds, and I was on cloud 9. I'm like, if I could lose like this, oh my gosh, I could be at goal by whenever. So then I created like a account on mymedifast.com, which is like a support site for people that are on the program, and found out like the average for women is 2 to 5 pounds a week is what you're losing. Guys is sometimes on the higher side. Guys are more like 5, women are more like 2.5 to 3.5, depending on how big you are when you start and whatever. So I did learn that if 2 pounds is the low average for women, I added it up. I said, okay, how much weight do I want to lose? Well, I was about 240 pounds, and I said that I wanted to be like 130. Well, little did I know that my frame at 130 was going to be way too small. So I said that I wanted to lose probably about, let's say 100. And I figured, 2 pounds a week is what I would lose, and I wanted to lose 100 pounds. So it was going to take me almost a year. So I promised myself that in a year I was going to be down, and I said, what size sounds good to me? Well, size 8 sounded awesome at the time, and I was like, yeah, size 8, it's a single digit. I've never been in single digit sizes in my entire life. So I, went out and I said, okay, I'm going to buy a pair of gold jeans and I'm going to hang them up on my closet and I'm going to make this real. So I did, and I went and I got myself my pair of size 8s and I looked at them, I held them up. I was like, oh, those look so small. I can't wait. Because at this time I was in an 18. So an 8, that's 10 sizes. That's a lot. And so I kept going. We went on vacation the next week. Big mistake. Okay, I get to my parents' house, and I was good. I brought my food with me. I packed it. I was prepared. I was good on the airplane. I was good in the airports. I didn't slip up. But we got to my parents' house, and my awesome Aunt Lori, who loves me oh so much, decided she was going to make me like my favorite thing in the whole entire world, which is her red velvet cake. So anyways, my second week I didn't do so well. I only lost 1.6 pounds, but still, I was 1.6 pounds less than I was the week before, so I wasn't really complaining. I knew it was my fault, and it wasn't the program's fault because it was me that screwed up. I ate the cake, and it wasn't really a small piece because I didn't know anything about portion control at this point, remind you. So then, the next week, we're still there. We go to California to visit because that's where I'm from. Hey, Santa Barbara, 805. And my grandma came down to visit. She made a homemade apple pie. I just couldn't say no. You're so sweet. She made it for me. She knows it's one of my other favorites. All right, well, so she brought her pie. I ate a piece. I had to have ice cream. You can't have apple pie without ice cream when you're fat. It's just one of those things. So I had my huge mound of pie and ice cream, whatever. Okay, so next week, yeah, I lost about 1 pound as well. But I knew it was my fault. It wasn't the program. So I kept going, and boy, am I glad that I did. So by the end of May, I had lost 40 pounds. That's 3 months, 40 pounds. Okay, I was about a size 10. And I was like, uh-oh. I was like, that size 8's getting awfully close. And I'm still kind of big because I have no butt, no hips. I'll stand up in a minute so you can see. And so I wear a smaller size probably than I would if I had some badonkadonk, but I don't. So I decided that size 8 was not a good enough goal for me anymore, and I was going to have to go down some more because I was still probably booking at 200 pounds, and that's not healthy. It's nowhere near healthy for my weight and my height. I'm 5'7", by the way. I know I didn't say that before. Whoops, sorry. So I went out and I was like, okay, well, what size looks good? So about a 6. Yeah, that's 2 sizes away. It still looks good. Well, I got to about 170 pounds and I could wear that size 6. So I was like, oh boy, we're going to have to change this. Well, August 24th, 2011, this is 5 months into Medifast, I'm in my bathroom one morning and I fainted. And luckily, my daughter heard me scream for her because I wasn't feeling well, and I was like, something's not right, go get your dad. Well, he heard me hit the floor, and next thing I know, he slapped me in the face, tried to wake me up, Kristina. Well, he gets me up, and my in-laws come over. My father-in-law used to be a paramedic, so he came over to help, and they start asking me questions, trying to figure out why it was that I fainted, and if I was okay, and everything. So, they're asking me, are you eating all your food, and whatnot, and all of a sudden, my mother-in-law looks at me, and she says, do I need to go buy your pregnancy test? Yeah, that might be good. So she did, and sure enough, I was most definitely pregnant. I hollered out from the bathroom, I think I know what the problem is. Yeah, so I had just lost a ton of weight, and I was pregnant. So now I had to go from watching the scale move down and being super excited and going down in pant sizes to going out and buying maternity clothes and pants with elastic band waists again and being okay with the scale going up. That was not fun. But anyways, I did it. I gained 47 pounds during that pregnancy. That was the highest out of any other pregnancy I had ever gained, and it was probably because I really hadn't learned yet. Even though I had lost all that weight and I had done the program, I was going through the motions. I wasn't mentally there yet. I hadn't made the transition in my head. So I ended up having to lose all of that weight too. I lost some of it naturally just after having the baby and whatever. So I got down to 205 was my next starting weight. And so fast forward 9 months and 6 weeks later, I started back on program July 20th of 2012. And by the 1st of October, I was at what I consider my new adjusted goal weight of 150 in a size 4. But unfortunately, like most mothers, whether you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 20 kids, things kind of tend to shift, especially after 4 kids and, 90 pounds of weight loss, 100 pounds of weight loss. So some cosmetic surgery was definitely in the makings. I had a full breast augmentation and a tummy tuck on December 17th of 2012. And that was the best decision I think I've ever made in my entire life. I will be making several more videos. If you have any questions for me, please feel free to ask them. I'm a Take Shape for Life health coach, and I'd absolutely love to help you reach your weight loss goal, whether it be 10, 15, 20 pounds or 150 to 200 pounds. I actually have a really good friend who has lost 200 pounds on this program, and she never looked back. So if you need to contact me, I will put my contact information up on the screen. You can also visit my website, www.iwant2, as in the number 2, be a loser, BEALOSER, T as in Tom, S as in Sam, F as in Frank, L as in Lucy.com. Again, that's www.iwant2, be a loser, takeshapeforlife.com. It was awesome chatting with you guys today, and I will make a little video again later.